Us more Russia-Ukraine conflict updates. The conflict is characterized by the drone deployment at an unprecedented level. The proliferation of cheap but deadly drones deployed by Russian and Ukrainian forces has irreversibly changed how the war is being waged, including how frontline medics retrieve the wounded from the battlefield. Presence of killer drones over the front lines is forcing military medics to find new ways to move wounded soldiers to field hospitals for treatment, including by robots. Rescuing wounded soldiers with the help of robots is also filled with risks, as there are mines scattered all over the front lines. And at times, robots hit these mines and kill the wounded soldiers. Some Ukrainian military medics have shared their experiences from the front lines. Let's listen in to what they have to say.
Це коли ми чуємо по радійки, що щось відбувається з пораненим, а ми на відстані. І надати допомогу ми не можемо, тому що ми ось тут, а він десь там. І це десь там може бути кілометр, а може бути і 20. По-різному. Ну, дуже по-різному. Я була в таких випадках, я була в таких ситуаціях, коли я знаходилася пів кілометра, кілометр від людей, які помирали, і я чула ці голоса в радійку, і я не могла нічого зробити. Тому що йти туди було неможливо.
Перше, якщо це евакуація, то це життя людини, а якщо це навіть доставка, то все одно ти везеш людям якусь провізію, вони на тебе розраховують, їм потрібна там їжа, вода, БК, зброя і так далі. Тому по-любому ти відчуваєш відповідальність, коли ти їдеш на ньому. Немає такого, що це просто якась гра чи іграшка. Все-таки ми не граємось тут.
We're once again joined by Major General Kochar. Major General, we obviously live in a modern world of modern warfare. How prevalent is the usage of drones now used on the battlefield in warfare around the world? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of using them?
A very important actually question, because the paradigm of warfare and the war doctrines have actually changed, and especially with the Russian-Ukraine war, and we also saw this happening in the Armenia and the Azerbaijan war, where the Shahid 136 drones, which were used by Azerbaijan against Armenians, to a very, very great effect. The T-72 tanks of the Armenian army were sitting ducks for these drones and were practically eliminated. And this was one of the reasons we saw Armenia losing the war. Nagorno-Karabakh is that area which Armenia was trying to defend, and it has lost that area just because of the use of drones by Azerbaijan. In the Ukraine war also, the use of first-person view drones, FPV drones as we call them, has had a devastating effect, not only on the combat zone, also in the rear zone, because what happens is once you start using your drones, there is no demarcation of the front and the rear, because the drones can strike at will at your logistic columns, drones can strike at your medical evacuation, and drones can strike at your mechanized formations. So this shift in the transformation or the doctrine of warfare, we have seen more use of drones and less use of air power. Because earlier in a conventional war, what we used to see was the predominance of air power and a favorable air use situation. But today, this has got transformed by the use of drones, and a new technique is being used known as the swarm drones. You fly around 50 to 100 drones and you saturate the environment, and no air defense system can address so many number of drones. So you tend to saturate the air defense system of the enemy. At the same time, you are able to target by using your munitions and your explosives, and many of these drones are armed. So as a result of which they are able to inflict very, very heavy casualties onto the enemy. And we also saw this in the Indo-Pak Operation Sindoor also, where Pakistan also used drones and India also used drones. So I presume, and I can come to a conclusion that in future warfare, drones are going to play a very important role, because they telescope the battlefield. The battlefield has no boundaries now. You can strike the rear and the front with the equal amount of ease, and you have all kinds of drones available. You have the heavy drones, you have the medium drones, you have the small drones. So each one can be used for the role you want them to perform.
Yes, thank you very much for giving us that insight, Major General Kachar. And thank you very